A large aperture macro lens for under $200? It can't be that good, right? What I found out may surprise you. The Brightinstar 60mm f2.8 macro manual focus mirrorless camera lens is quite an enigma. Stick around to the end to figure out why. This review will cover the build quality, the lens features, and the image quality, and then real-world practical application. The build quality for this lens is incredible for the price. It has a metal body that gives the lens a premium solid feeling, while the focus and aperture rings have nice resistance to them. This makes pulling focus and shifting the aperture a videographer's dream because the rotation is smooth. There are no external buttons because the lens is a manual focus lens. There's no need for something like an autofocus to manual switch. The lens elements are visible from the front of the lens and come all the way up to the front glass because of the macro focusing. The maximum aperture is f2.8 and the minimum aperture is f22. There is no internal lens stabilization, so be wary of your shutter speed if shooting photos and whether or not you are shooting a moving shot if you are shooting video. The minimum focus distance is 60mm or a mere 2.36 inches. I love being able to get that close to my subjects. Moving on to image quality, the lens is quite soft in my opinion, especially when wide open at f2.8. This isn't a huge issue and honestly doesn't noticeably detract from the overall image in my opinion. I feel like the color representation through the lens shifts slightly warm and slightly green. Again, not a huge issue if you are planning on shooting raw and editing your images later. The lens is also an APS-C lens, so be wary if you are shooting on a full frame camera. There is very noticeable vignetting. The vignetting is strongest when the focus is set to infinity while shooting on a full frame sensor. However, when shooting on an APS-C sensor, there is no vignetting. It should also be noted that this is a 90mm focal length on an APS-C sensor. Now let's get down to the actual use cases. I thought this lens was a gimmick. I saw the price tag and thought there's no way I would be getting a quality product. But oddly enough, I found myself shooting with this lens quite often. This is why this Brightinstar lens is an enigma. It is missing some key features like autofocus, but still produces exceptional results in context. The lack of autofocus can definitely be challenging, especially when shooting wide open. It can be tough to nail the focal point, even when focus assist is turned on. I've used this lens from shooting everything from portraits to product videos, and even some nature photography. As a budget macro lens, it has more than made back its price tag. Let me know what you think of this lens. If you want to check out more about this lens, you can click the link in the description below. If you want to see more product reviews, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next review.